everyone, it's me again, Jerome Sibala, and welcome back to my channel, and welcome also to our weekly Tidbit. But before I share with you our topic for today, which is about relative pronoun, allow me to do some shout out first. So shout out to all the Little Dreamers, fighters, and bionic armies out there. Thank you very much for your continued support. And through the months that we've been doing vlogging, be it in relation to travel or English Tidbit, you've always been supportive. So I've got nothing but gratitude for your unending support. So once again, thank you so much and kamsahamnida from the bottom of my heart. As what I've mentioned, we're going to talk about relative pronouns today, but I guess it's only proper that we discuss first and foremost what are pronouns. So allow me to share with you first and define what is a pronoun. A pronoun is a word or form that substitutes for a noun or a noun phrase. Once again, it is a word or form that substitutes for a noun or a noun phrase. I'll give you an example. If I say I am calling from HR, I there is used as a word to substitute the noun, and it's substituting me, Jerome Sibala, so I'm calling from HR. I can share with you different types or the common types of pronouns to include number one, personal pronoun. And personal pronoun denotes an entity or of a specific grammatical person. For example, the first person would including I, me, we, and so on, or the second person, you, or the third person, he, she, or they. That's personal pronoun. Another type of pronoun that I can share with you is the subject pronoun. A subject pronoun is used when the person or the thing is the subject of the sentence or clause. Example, I like to eat spaghetti, but she does not. That's the subject. We're talking about a subject pronoun there, I. Next is the object pronoun. Object pronouns are used when the person or thing is the object of the sentence or clause. Then we also have prepositional pronouns. Prepositional pronouns come after the preposition. For example, Ritea and Christina looked at me. Me there is preceded by the preposition at. So that is what we call prepositional pronoun. Then we also have possessive pronouns. These are used to indicate possession or ownership. For example, I'm sure you're very familiar with a hit song in the 90s, The Boy Is Mine. Mine is a possessive pronoun because it indicates possession or ownership. Then we also have indefinite pronoun. Indefinite pronouns refer to general categories of people or things. Then we also have interrogative pronouns. Interrogative pronouns ask which person or thing is meant. For example, who did that? You're asking which person or thing is meant. And we also have the relative pronoun. The relative pronoun refers back to people or things previously mentioned. For example, people who smoke should quit now. Again, people who smoke should quit now. So we'll define what is a relative pronoun. It is a pronoun used to mark a relative clause and having the same referent as the element of the main clause, usually a noun or a noun phrase which the relative clause modifies. Again, it is a pronoun used to mark a relative clause and having the same referent as the element of the main clause, usually a noun or a noun phrase which the relative clause modifies. Allow me to share with you the rule of thumb when we talk about the relative pronoun. And the basic relative pronouns include who, which, and that. Again, the basic relative pronouns are who, which, and that. Take note, however, that that is traditionally regarded as a relative pronoun, but it has to be analyzed as a subordinating conjunction. Subordinating conjunctions are helpful in writing paragraphs with an independent clause and a dependent clause. Such common subordinating conjunctions include after, although, as, or as far as if, as long as soon as though, because, before, if, in order, since, so that, then, and so on. When we use relative pronouns after a noun to make it clear which person or thing we're talking about. Let me stress that one more time. We use relative pronouns after a noun to make it clear which person or thing we are talking about. For example, if I say, please connect me to the person who can assist me. So we're looking for the person, or I'm personally looking for the person who can assist me. So you have to connect me to that person. So again, we use relative pronouns after a noun to make it clear which person or thing we're talking about. Or we use relative pronouns in relative clauses to tell us more about a person or a thing. An example that I can think of would be Mr. Aguilera, who is a full-time employee, transferred my call to HR. So if you want to know more about the noun, then we use the relative pronoun. So Mr. Aguilera, who is a full-time employee, transferred my call to HR. We also use whose, that's W-H-O-S-E. We use whose as the possessive form of who. So example, this is George, whose brother went to school with me. So we use whose as the possessive form of who. We sometimes use whom as the object of a verb or preposition. Example, this is Mary from Inspiro, whom you talked to yesterday. But nowadays, we normally use who instead of whom. So you can say, this is Mary, who you spoke with yesterday. And finally, when whom or which have a preposition, the preposition can come at the beginning or at the end of the clause. And by the way, before I give you some examples, we'll also talk about preposition in our next tidbit, so that's something to look forward to. But again, when whom or which have a preposition, the preposition can come at the beginning or at the end of the clause. Example, I spoke with Mary, comma, who or whom I confirmed some pieces of information from. Or you can say, I spoke with Mary, from who or from whom I confirmed some pieces of information from. So I hope that you learned something today about relative pronouns, but just to stress this once again, I'm going to put emphasis on this one more time, that the basic relative pronouns are who, which, and that. So once again, thank you very much for attentively listening, and I can't wait to give you another tidbit. But please continue to comment, to subscribe, and to share this video, because at the end of the day, everybody deserves to learn about the English language. So thank you very much for your continued support. I'll see you in our next tidbit. 감사합니다.